So I'm going to continue here with the sixth part of the restoration of my Toyota Celica from the year 93. And I forgot to include a video where I showed where these connections to the alternator were prepared in order to fix the problem that this connection had. It was missing that connector in there, so I added it, and everything was fine after that. Okay, so the next step was to try to change the steering fluid. These cars use ATF fluid, which is for the transmission. So I bought several of them, and because I have 3 Toyotas, so I'm gonna be using these fluids, and also the coolant is something that I need to change on that Camry. I mean, I need to change it on my Camry, but that's one of the things that this car, the Celica, needs the coolant to be changed. It is looking very bad. It's it hasn't been changed for a long time, I can tell. And what people don't usually do is to use the right type of fluid. So this time I have the Asian coolant, which is the red one. People add the greenish one to these cars, and that's not the right one. Toyota's the coolant is red, but anyway, I moved into the steering fluid, and I had to remove this cruise control thing that I haven't seen in newer cars like that. They have been changing. This is one of the things that they have changed, even though it's the same engine. They have changed the design of this piece, but anyway, it was on my way to try to change the steering fluid, so I went ahead and removed it. It was not that complicated, and after I did, I saw some dirt, and I wanted to clean since it was removed, so that's what I did. So it looked a little bit better. It's not deep cleaning at all, but it was just trying to remove some of the grease and some of the deposits and stuff. So in order to extract the fluid from the compartment, I used one of these air compressors to inflate the tires, and I modified the thing a little bit by following the instructions that there's a very good mechanic. I think he's from the Philippines, that I watched his videos. So he said that you can actually modify one of these air compressors and make it a pump too. So you stuck that little tube in there, and you are going to put the other end. I mean, that's the setup. You have this little container to catch the fluid, and then you insert it and you start it, and it's going to be sucking all the fluid out of the reservoir for the steering fluid. It is not really powerful, but it's going to get the job done. And the steering fluid is not that much, so it didn't take really long to get it. So after I was done, there was a tachometer, of course, that I wanted to replace. I got it from the junkyard. The radio. For the headlight, so I just used some spray paint. This is the way I got it out. It is not the very too simple, but it's not that hard either. You just have to play with it a little bit until it comes out, but it will. And this plastic, I have noticed, I think I've mentioned it before, in these cars from the 80s and the 90s, the plastics that they used were really, good quality plastics. So they're not gonna break those tabs and all that stuff. They're not gonna break as easy, even though this car is 26 years old. But that was the finished product, and after I was done, it was not a perfect paint job, but it looked good. Good. I was satisfied. Now the other thing was the rattle that was coming from this thing. This is one of the things I noticed when I was about to buy the car. It was rattling a lot. It was making a lot of noise. So I decided to use those things that are for to seal the doors, the frames of the doors, and it stopped the rattling actually. The next thing was the filter, the air filter, that I never changed, and that's one of the important things. It seems minor, but it's a very important thing, so that the car can breathe properly, right? So it was ordered online. They're kind of hard to find, um, but they can be found. So I decided to change that too. That's one of the things that I have on my list of things to do for this car and for this project. So it was not that complicated to get it out and replace it, but that was pretty dirty, as you can see, and that's much better. I have to tell, I haven't noticed any difference. I haven't checked the consumption. The car is still not registered, and I'm working on it. It's a project car. It could be driven already. It's not missing anything really. Um, but I'm waiting for it to be totally finished. Maybe not the paint job, but the the things that I need to do, like the coolant and stuff like that. I really don't want to have any problems with the car. I want to enjoy it, so I'm gonna make sure that I'm completely finished with everything I want to do to it. And the minimal, like the oil, fluids, the coolant is missing. So that's probably why I'm not still registering this car. But I want to change that coolant. It is in very bad shape. So after I installed the air filter, as I said, I didn't really notice any difference, but I know it does. This is one of the features that I really love about these older 80s 90s cars, those headlights. um, is really cool to see them going up and down. um, so I decided to try to replace that flap on top of the headlight, and also try to paint. I was testing the waters. I was trying to see, with if with a little bit of a clear coat, how would it look. So I decided to dismantle everything else since I was working on the other piece, plastic piece. So um, I decided to try to paint this thing and see how it looked. Now the result, I'm gonna have to show it on another video, but it was not really that good because the sun. So the sun has faded the paint, and some parts have had the clear coat still on it. So you have parts where there was clear coat, and I removed it, and after I removed it, the original color was exposed, and there were parts on that piece that were exposed without clear coat. I didn't think it would make any difference, but of course the sun has been um, you know uh, doing some damage on that paint for all these years. And if it was no clear coat on that, of course you're gonna expect that it's gonna be kind of faded. So there were areas that were, even though it was the same color, it was the same base coat, the colors were different in different areas, depending on whether it had a clear coat or not. So the one I removed, I didn't realize it was not gonna look good with the clear coat after I applied the newer, the fresh clear coat. So I have two different tones, so the result is not really satisfactory. I was just trying it out. I'm on my, um, um, buff it and and paint it properly, but I was just trying to see how it would look. But I was not too happy about the way it looked. But you learn stuff when you experiment, and of course, something so simple as the different tones because of the sun is something that you don't think, but you realize after you experience with it, and as you can see, I was removing the clear coats, and I used some sandpaper, and then I used some alcohol, and the one I used was 400, and I think later on I used 800, and then I simply applied the clear coat. But even though it looks much better than the rest of the car, on the top where the clear coat is peeling, it is not looking good. It is not done properly. As you can see, you can also see it right now, the different tones that you have, and this is something I didn't think about. So I'm gonna have to show the result on a different video. The next video is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be working on the antenna, and you're gonna see whether I fixed it or not. It goes up and down automatically. That's another feature that I love. And also the tachometer. That's what you're gonna see in the next video. But thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.